The Super 8s are done. 4 teams survive and 4 teams pack their bags to go home. There was drama, there was chaos, there was last minute elimination. Let's rewind the whole thing.
Starting off with Group 1, containing South Africa, India, the West Indies, and Zimbabwe.
South Africa, dominant, ruthless, and clinical. And their biggest weapon, their situational intelligence. At Ahmedabad, they have played like 4 to 5 match, and they have really read the pitch very well. The match against India, black soil, they won the toss and bat first. And when India were chasing, the pitch was really tricky. And the very next game against the West Indies, on a red soil, they won the toss, decided to bowl first. And while South African pacers were bowling, we saw there were some movement and help for the quick. Afternoon game, no due factor. They chased down the target like a practice drill. They have really read the surface better than most teams read the match situation.
Their preparation, especially having played most of their matches in Ahmedabad, has really helped them build up a reputation in this tournament. And as such, they go into the semi-finals with an unbeaten record. While South Africa have been at their imperious best, India on the other hand have had a few hiccups along the way. Confirmed their qualification last night, but the question still remains, will their bowling hold? It has been a huge point of concern, especially in this South Africa game that we just discussed. Tactical miscalculations, lack of situational awareness, and just wrong selection at times has cost them, especially that South Africa game. We've seen them scrape by against a lot smaller nations, the US for example, in the group stages. But against the big boys in the Super 8s, when they were down and out, they stood back up and showed everyone why India are the defending champions. Against Zimbabwe, putting up that mammoth 250 plus total on the board, they didn't need the net run rate push, so they experimented with the bowling. But on God's green earth, why are we trying this again? We've mentioned this in a short before, but this whole tactic of experimenting with the bowling order as well as the batting order at times can cause you harm, especially in a knockout game that is coming up.
And even the West Indies match, India after winning the toss decided to bowl first, and they didn't even give the new ball to Jasprit Bumrah for the first 10 overs. As a result, West Indies managed to score about 190 plus. Yes, India chased it quite easily at the end, but you can't chase 190 plus in a pressure match every time. It is not like India didn't get any positive. Their biggest positive was holding their nerve in pressure moments. And one more positive, which no one is talking about, in every match that India has won, there was one guy who stood up. You won't find Indian batters in the highest run scorer list. In every match, there was a different hero in the batting department. India haven't played their perfect game yet, and somehow they're still here. That's dangerous.
And as for the other two teams in the group, the West Indies started brightly against Zimbabwe, missed out against South Africa, and came agonizingly close against India. On the other hand, the chevrons of Zimbabwe can hold their heads up high. Even though they lost all 3 matches in the Super 8s, they performed well above expectations. Standout players for them were Captain Sikandar Raza, the ever-present, as well as up-and-coming Brian Bennett and Blessing Muzarabani in the bowling department. The future is bright for Zimbabwean cricket, and we hope to see more of this in the next edition of the T20 World Cup.
Moving on to Group 2, the 2 teams that qualified are England and New Zealand, as predicted, more or less. First up, England. In the first group stage, they were a bit shaky. They were challenged by Nepal and Italy, lost against West Indies. But come the Super 8s, they have unlocked their potential. And in all the matches, the difference was Will Jack, 4 player of the match award, against Italy, against Nepal, against Sri Lanka, and against New Zealand. England were in a precarious situation, but he was the difference for England. The 3 Lions, just like India, haven't played their best cricket yet. They have their own issues with their bowling and batting, but they have somehow managed to reach the semi-final. The 3 Lions seems to be peaking at the right time. And with everything else and the potential they have, they can be a dangerous side.
And last but not the least, we have the Kiwis. New Zealand, calm, calculated, and classic. Before the World Cup, they looked kind of average, especially during that India-New Zealand T20 series. They looked stumped, out of ideas, but they pulled one match out, and that gave them a little bit of hope. But during the World Cup, more or less, they have looked inevitable. Yes, they lost to England. With an initial washout against Pakistan, the pressure was on, but against host Sri Lanka, being down 84 for 6, they pulled it out to 168. That wasn't recovery, that was a statement. They've been under pressure already and they have responded. In T20s, if you can win big, win brutal, just like New Zealand did against the hosts. Because that NRR isn't just for decoration, it's insurance. And that came in especially handy considering they lost their next match to England. That loss could have been devastating, especially given that Pakistan had a chance to take over their spot with a win against Sri Lanka. But the net run rate saved them.
For Sri Lanka, they had a very good first group stage, but come the Super 8s, they faced the reality. Given their current cricketing structure, their inconsistency, the struggle was inevitable for them. Promise is there, but stability isn't.
And finally, we talk about Pakistan. Talent, but without control. Dangerous in phases, competitive, definitely, but in moments. Complete for 40 overs? Rarely. Indisciplined with the ball, fielding almost like self-sabotage. Opportunities arrived, but the execution just wasn't there. Kudrat ka nizam can only save you so many times. And even Sahibzada Farhan's upcoming series can't save them this time.
Keeping the jokes aside, Sahibzada Farhan seems to be a bright prospect for the Pakistan team.
With all that business done, we come down to the knockouts, the semi-finals. First up, it's the unbeaten South Africa against the Black Caps of New Zealand. At the Eden Gardens, small-ish ground, but a huge crowd and even huger nerves. History and current form both favor the Proteas. But in a knockout match like this, you just never know. South Africa's bowling depth, their tactical flexibility will come in very handy against New Zealand's temperament and big match composure and their adaptable middle order. It'll be an unfamiliar wicket for both of them, considering that they're playing on the Eden Gardens surface for the first time in this tournament. And both teams will want to vanquish that tag of chokers from their names forever.
Still, the knockout history exists. Let's not ignore it. The key battle in this match will be the Kiwi openers and the South African opening bowlers. Because if you see, New Zealand's middle order is yet to fire. Yes, the Super 8 matches they played were in Sri Lanka, difficult condition, but their middle order is yet to fire in this tournament. And the other battle that will be interesting will be Matt Henry versus the South African top order. Matt Henry has flown back home for the birth of his second child. Given that he returns on time, he will be a key bowler against the South African top order. And the second semi-final is between India and England. Interestingly, these two have played the semi-final too, and the winner of this match has went on to win the championship. As mentioned earlier in the video, both England and India seems to be quite similar. They have their issues, but they are still here. Both teams have explosive top order, multiple match winners. One point where India slightly edged the Sri Lanka is their bowling department. The English bowling attack kind of looks underwhelming, and a high-risk approach can implode at any time.
Key battles in this match will most likely be, again, the point of difference, Will Jacks against the Indian death bowlers. He has been England's engine, but in these tournaments, everyone is due for a quiet day. On the contrary, Josh Buttler has been oddly quiet this tournament, which makes him even more dangerous of exploding at this point. Butler versus the new ball bowlers would define the game, and provided India's tendency for experiments, who knows, that might just do the trick.
And maybe, just maybe, this would be his last ICC tournament. He has been quite off color recently, and English players rarely stretch their career once decline begins.
The toss will be mighty important in this game. Whoever chases at the Wankhede with this kind of a batting depth on both sides will be the favourites. And tactically, this is where the knockouts get decided. The Super 8s tested skill. The semi-finals will test nerves. Whoever holds out survives. The biggest test is yet to come. Drop your predictions in the comments below who you think will be the finalists for this edition of the T20 World Cup. But for now though, that's it from our side. We hope you've enjoyed. Consider smashing that like button if you have. Subscribe to our channel for more such unbiased analysis of cricketing content. And we'll see you in the next one. Glitch Lab signing out.